Welcome to the Money RX for CRNAs podcast, where we help you lower taxes, invest smarter, and create a successful retirement. I'm your host, Brett Fellows. Let me tell you about a person named Matthew. Matthew is 68 years old and retired. Successful career, has traveled the world, and built a solid foundation. By every traditional measure, he should be living his best retirement life. Instead, he is terrified. He laments that he doesn't even know what to do anymore. Matthew had done everything right financially. He just missed the other parts of retirement planning. Matthew's story is a common story, something that we see often in the financial planning world. Most people spend years focusing on the money side. They save diligently, max out their 401k, pay down debt, hit their magic number, and think that they're ready. Then they retire and reality hits. Today we're covering 5 things most people miss about retirement planning. And these aren't about having more money. They're about understanding that retirement is a complete life transition that impacts your identity, relationships, health, and sense of purpose. The financial piece is just table stakes. The real work happens after you stop working. Okay, the first thing people miss, your identity. For many, your career doesn't just pay you, it defines who you are. For 30 or 40 years, when someone asks who you are, you tell them what you do. You're a CRNA. You're the director of operations, the department head, the person everyone comes to with questions. Then you retire, and suddenly you're the director of what is for lunch today. Research from the European Management Journal identifies this as one of the biggest psychological barriers to retirement. People fear losing their social standing, their sense of relevance, their professional identity. One client once told me, I went from being someone people needed to being someone people forgot. But it doesn't have to be your story. You need to retire to something, not just from something. This means building an identity outside of work while you're still working. Start now. Join organizations. Volunteer with causes that you care about. Develop hobbies that bring you joy. Build relationships that have nothing to do with your job title. Retirement should be the beginning of something new, not the end of who you are. Now, the second thing most people miss is how your social networks change. Work gives you more than income. It gives you people. Your colleagues become your friends. Your office becomes your social hub. Your work events fill your calendar. And then you retire, and those relationships will often fade. Research from the Pan-African Medical Journal found that retirees who maintain strong social connections outside of work reported significantly higher levels of well-being. The happiest retirees had built social networks before they needed them. And this is especially challenging for men. I've seen too many guys who define friendship through work relationships. When work ends, loneliness tends to begin. The solution starts while you're still working. Join clubs, take classes, get involved in community activities. Find your people before you need them. One couple I know decided to try something new every week during their first year of retirement. They ate at different restaurants. They took different hiking trails. They joined different social groups. And by the end of the year, they had a full social calendar and new friendships. The third thing, the way you flip your psychology when it comes to spending. Now, this one catches everyone off guard because you've spent 40 years accumulating wealth. Now you need to spend it, and that switch feels wrong. A recent Wall Street Journal article found that 47% of retirees with over $1 million saved still worried about their finances. Nearly a third are concerned about running out of money. This anxiety leads to what I call spending paralysis. These millionaire retirees are spending only 2.1% of their portfolio annually. They're living like they're broke when they're financially secure. Now, two things cause this. First, the accumulation mindset is really hard to break. Second, losing your regular paycheck makes every dollar spent feel permanent. The solution is stress testing your retirement plan. Really stress testing it. Look at your plan under different market scenarios. Factor in inflation. Account for healthcare costs. Model various spending levels. Because when you know your plan works under pressure, you give yourself permission to actually live. So create what I call a license to spend. Figure out what you can sustainably spend over 30 years. And most people discover this number is higher than expected. Now that gap becomes your confidence buffer. The fourth thing people miss: finding a new balance between structure and freedom. Most people think retirement means total freedom, no alarm clocks, no meetings. Do whatever you want, whenever you want. But that freedom can become a trap. Data shows new retirees overspend by 15 to 20% in their first year. They're saying yes to postponed travel, delayed home projects, and planned experiences. But front-loading everything into year one damages long-term financial security. More importantly, endless structured time often leads to boredom and depression. Harvard research shows retirees with structured daily routines report 40% higher life satisfaction than those without structure. Now, this doesn't mean rigid schedules. It means purposeful days. Retirement is not a vacation. It's a new way of life. And like any sustainable lifestyle, it needs rhythm and routine. Maybe you golf on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Maybe you volunteer on weekends. Maybe you take a class every Wednesday. The specifics don't really matter. But having a reason to get up and somewhere to be does. One client created what she called her retirement calendar. She scheduled workouts, social activities, volunteer time, and personal projects. She told me, I need to be busy to be happy. Retirement did not change that. Now, the fifth and final thing people miss: the connection between your health and your wealth. Most retirement planning focuses on funding the next 20 or 30 years of retirement. But what if those aren't healthy years? I have watched people spend decades saving for retirement only to spend their retirement savings on healthcare because they neglected their health while working. So your health is your most important investment. Research from the Stanford Center on Longevity found that social connections and physical activity are the strongest predictors of both health span and lifespan in retirement. So people who stay physically active reduce their risk of chronic illness by 30%. Those who maintain social connections are 50% less likely to develop depression. But this isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. So create a health calendar like you used to have a work calendar. Schedule your workouts. Plan social activities. Make time for relationships and activities that energize you. Taking care of your body isn't just good advice. It's probably the best investment you'll ever make. Okay, let's put these 5 areas together. Building an identity outside of work often involves social activities that keep you physically active. Creating structure in retirement can include health routines and social commitments. And having a solid financial plan reduces stress, which improves both mental and physical health. Now, Matthew, the gentleman I mentioned at the beginning, is working through all 5 areas. He's started volunteering at a local literacy program. He's joined a hiking group. He's created a retirement budget that gives him permission to spend. And he's building routines around his new activities, and he's prioritizing his health like never before. He is not the same person who told our group he was scared and didn't know what to do. He's becoming who he wants to be in retirement. So here's the bottom line. Retirement planning is about money, yes, but more importantly, it's about designing a life worth living after your career ends. So start building your retirement identity now. Develop social connections outside of work. Create a financial plan that gives you confidence to spend. Think about structure and purpose for your days. And take care of your health like your future depends on it, because guess what? It does. You have worked too hard to sleepwalk into retirement. You deserve better than just having enough money. You deserve a retirement filled with purpose, health, relationships, and of course, joy. The financial piece is important, but it's just the foundation. The real work of retirement planning is building a life on top of that foundation. So if you're approaching retirement and want help thinking through both the financial and life planning aspects, we'd be happy to chat. You can schedule a conversation with me to talk through your specific situation. Until next time, stay the course and make it a great day.
This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. This podcast does not engage in rendering legal, financial, or other professional services.